I did it again, and again, it was barely. When nominees were announced this year, I was like, okay, I've already seen 6 of these. I'm so ahead. The video I make on this is going to be so much better because I have so much more time. And then my time from then to now mostly consisted of school and rehearsals for shows I was in. So I ended up not really starting this video until a week ago. I still got it out before the awards show, so I'm still fine. I'm just a little disappointed because I wanted it to be earlier. But it's whatever. You know what I'm here for. We're ranking every Best Picture nominee from the 98th Academy Awards. I'd say this year was definitely stronger than last year overall, but still not every nominee was good. We'll talk about that shortly. Starting from the bottom and working our way up, let's get started, shall we? I had a feeling before I even watched this that it would be at the bottom of the list for me, and especially after reading the synopsis, I really didn't want it to be, but this movie's just kind of a mess, man, I'm sorry. Of course it didn't help that I had to read the entire movie as I was watching it, because I don't speak Portuguese, but honestly for the entire first half, I felt like I was watching a new movie every 15 minutes. I was so indescribably lost in the sheer amount of stuff the movie was throwing at me, almost as if it wanted me to miss things. It feels like a new character is introduced every scene, and it's just downright exhausting after a while. That's another thing too, the characters and dialogue move very quickly for the most part, but the scenes themselves move so slowly. It's just such a weird combination that feels like it was crafted to make the audience care as little as possible. This movie just doesn't deserve its length at all. Like, nearly 3 hours? Really? You needed to do that? I really believe I would have liked this a whole lot more if it was shorter. Just straight up. Okay, but now you're probably thinking, Travis, you gave it a 6 out of 10. You had to have liked something about it. And yes, I did. I love the colors. They're so vibrant and lively while living in such a dark tone film, which is a neat juxtaposition. The final 40 minutes or so are very solid. Performances are all around pretty good from what I could tell. The suspense the film carried during certain sequences was solid. So overall, I wouldn't say the movie's bad, just misguided, I guess. It has enough going for it to push my rating above a 5, but it just falls so short in so many areas to the point where I can't put it any higher. Oh god, this one is frustrating. It's just such a good movie right up until the last 30 minutes, which was weirdly enough a 2025 movie trend I noticed, especially among horror movies. Like this movie, Presence, Him, Weapons, No Other Choice, The Long Walk, and Companion I'd all put into this category. It's so bizarre. Some examples were more offensive than others for the record. I'm not saying all those movies were bad. But anyways, this movie follows a conspiracy theorist and his not-so-willing accomplice kidnapping who he believes to be an alien, and as time passes, he slowly starts to realize that he may be way in over his head. It's obviously hard to talk about an ending without spoiling, but I just felt like this movie was very clearly heading in one direction, then it just does a complete 180 and doesn't even feel like the same movie anymore. And I feel like that's pretty much all I can say, and that might have even been too much. This is a very well-made movie. The cinematography, acting, and score were all spectacular, which is what makes it even more frustrating for me because you had something great. It was right here, and you just threw it away. I think Yorgos Lanthimos might just be too weird for me. I've disliked both movies I've watched by him so far. Whatever, I mean, it's still an alright movie that I would recommend, unlike The Secret Agent, because I feel like my complaints with this movie have a higher chance of being a me problem, so if you're interested, just watch it and form your own opinion. Okay, if there's any ranking in this video that has the chance to personally offend anyone, it's gonna be this. Look, I'm so sorry that I happen to be born a straight male and me like see car go vroom vroom. Alright, I apologize. But in all seriousness, I just had a really fun time with this one. Though this was undoubtedly the most surprising nomination out of the 10, I wasn't expecting this at all. But the movie follows a washed-up F1 racer who gets invited to come back to the sport by one of his good friends because his team needs some help. At least I think, but it's not really important. What is important is the super fast-paced, intense, adrenaline-pumping racing scenes. That's what this movie is about, and damn if it doesn't nail it. I didn't even know anything about F1 racing going into it, so it's a very accessible movie as well. Oh, and the sound design. Holy, I'm glad I happened to watch this in theaters when it came out, because good lord. So obviously this isn't a movie with a super deep story that's going to keep you thinking about it and analyzing it for weeks, or acting that's going to blow your mind, which is why I was teetering on an 8 out of 10 for this movie. But the point of the movie is to be entertaining, and god damn it, I was entertained. So it did exactly what it was supposed to, and it deserves this rating. Fight me. Oh man, this movie was so heartbreaking, dude. The first movie of the list that made me cry. Not that I'm this super tough guy who thinks crying is for chumps, but I do consider it impressive when a movie achieves this. Hamnet is an untold story about the wife of William Shakespeare and the fate of their son Hamnet, and how it relates to Shakespeare's writing of his classic tragedy Hamlet. This movie just feels so candid and raw, which makes for a super emotional watching experience. What's even sadder though is how unlucky Rose Byrne is, because Jessie Buckley absolutely destroys in this role. She perfectly portrays a woman who's been strong her whole life, pretending every tragedy in her life is okay, until it eventually all crashes down. Ugh, it just breaks my heart, dude. It's not just her, though. Literally everybody on screen is incredible. Even the actors who play the children, especially Hamnet, are remarkable. This movie also just looks so beautiful. The contrasts of nature green and rusty brown are just so enthralling to look at. So why is this not a 10? Well, I did think it was pretty slow at some points, but maybe I was just tired. And the ending also didn't land as hard for me personally as I think they wanted it to. I do get it, but just in the moment, it didn't feel all that satisfying. Again, maybe I was just tired. I'd like to give this one a rewatch, maybe it'll bump it up some more in my head. I had a generational switch up on this movie. Like, the entire first half I was kinda on it, but then the second half just blew me away. That's really my only gripe with this movie, is that it just took a while for me to really get invested. Because the whole movie is about this father who's making a movie and wrote the script with one of his daughters in mind for the lead role, which would certainly be a breakout for her since her father is a very renowned director, so he confronts her about it and she turns it down because she seemingly doesn't like him. Why? We don't really know until halfway through the movie. So everything before that, I'm just like, why would you turn this down? This is the best offer of all time. And the father doesn't even really seem like all that bad of a guy. Like, I think the movie should have spent a little more effort trying to make you not like him. Even just something douchey about the way he dresses, or just some uncomfortable comment he makes, like, just something. Also, my perspective on foreign films is inherently biased because I'm viewing them as an outsider who doesn't know about the culture or context the movie is reliant upon to tell its story. Like, if you're not fluent in a language, it's a lot harder to tell the exact intention behind something someone says, or if they're being sarcastic or making a joke. So I just constantly feel like a 6-year-old at a family gathering. Like, I know the words you're saying, but I probably don't know exactly what you're saying. Sorry for the tangent, but I just thought it was worth pointing out. But like I said, the movie does get astronomically better after we know why the daughter doesn't like the father. It's a very emotional family drama that'll hit you right where it hurts, and this movie has maybe a top 5 movie ending of 2025. It's a really, really great movie. Netflix absolutely cooked this year. We got this, Frankenstein, and K-pop Demon Hunters, all 3 being nominated for Academy Awards. K-pop Demon Hunters for Best Animated Feature, by the way. That movie's peak. Anyways, Train Dreams follows the life of a logger in the early 20th century, and that's pretty much it. It's really just a movie about life and the beauties and horrors that come with it. I'm a sucker for simplistic movies if they're done well, and this is definitely one of those cases. This movie just feels real, like it really happened. It just feels so personal, like coming from a place of genuine heart. It does such an amazing job at depicting how stuff changes so quickly, and humans aren't built to keep up with it, so we have no choice but to just experience it from a distance as we stick to the roots we know, because what else are you gonna do? I won't talk about it in specifics, but the ending does a particularly great job at this, and is a beautiful way to wrap up the story. This movie is also my top pick for cinematography. This movie is beautiful to look at. Apparently they used a lot of natural light, which makes the world feel so intimate and palpable. I also believe Joel Edgerton was robbed of a Best Actor nomination here. Like, I'd swap him for Ragnar Mora any day. But yeah, dude, this film is just so beautiful, and watching it is an experience I'd surely recommend to anybody who's prepared to shed a tear or two. Here's the big one, the one everyone's been talking about since it was released, heralding it as the best movie of 2025 and one of the best movies of all time. I disagree, though I do still think it's an incredible movie. The story is about a washed-up revolutionary named Bob and his daughter who ends up getting taken for being mixed race under suspicion that a white supremacist colonel is actually the father. The movie mostly follows Bob as he goes through hell to get his daughter back, meeting up with fellow former revolutionary friends of his and having to remember all of his old tricks. First of all, this might be the best paced movie I've ever seen in my life. This thing never slows down and doesn't feel anywhere near 2.5 hours. I was just constantly invested and intrigued with zero downtime, and I find that so impressive. My investment was a lot to the score, though. It just feels so raw and unorthodox in the best way possible. It does a staggeringly amazing job at building tension during certain sequences. There are some great needle drops too, like of this Jackson 5 song about halfway through that was pretty great, and that made me smile. This movie also just does so much at once, but like just enough to not feel cluttered or overwhelming. Like it's walking a beautifully fine line between the two to the point where I feel like one more major character or scene would have thrown it completely off balance. Despite how fast this movie goes, you constantly feel caught up and in the present, which is incredibly impressive to me. If I were to talk about its shortcomings, I'd have to spoil a lot, which I don't want to, so ask me in the comments if you're interested. All in all, is One Battle a perfect movie? No. But it's still an incredibly paced political dramedy that has a lot to say and says it very efficiently, and is definitely a film I'd recommend. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is the only piece of Frankenstein media I've consumed in its entirety. And just like that, all confusion about why this movie is ranked so high is no more. That seems to be the trend. If you know the book and the story inside and out, you'd think this movie's like okay. But if your knowledge of Frankenstein literally just consists of "it's alive" and his appearance in Hotel Transylvania, then you'll probably enjoy seeing this dark gothic tale in its full glory. I was super intrigued by this story since I had very limited knowledge of it, and I love how complex and nuanced the characters were. It didn't feel like a black and white good guy bad guy thing like the older Frankenstein movies seemed to be. The story is split into two parts, focusing on Victor Frankenstein's perspective, then focusing on the creature's perspective, which was a super interesting way to tell it and enthralled me immediately. The acting across the board is also spectacular, especially Jacob Elordi as the creature. He just completely embodies this character, down to minor facial expressions. It's so impressive. Though what I believe this movie's biggest strength to be is the visuals. Everything from the sets, the costume designs, the visual effects, the dark and gritty colors, they just evoke a Frankenstein feel, and they did such an incredible job with that. Like, it feels just fantasy enough to make it feel like a Frankenstein story, but also grounded enough to keep the emotion and the palpability. This movie's just so goddamn well done, and I can't imagine anyone making a better Frankenstein movie ever again. Yep, the Timothée Chalamet Ping-pong thriller everyone was making fun of before it came out is one of the best movies of 2025, which is ironically kind of what the movie is about. Marty Mauser, a young hustler with a dream that nobody respects, goes through hell and back in pursuit of it, and my god, it's a thrill. The pure amount of fun I got out of this film is actually indescribable. Like, this movie has so much heart and feels so hectic in such an entertaining way. This movie is so high octane and intense. It carries this energy seamlessly throughout a 2.5-hour runtime. Like, how does this movie make 2.5 hours feel so short? Like, what the hell? The cinematography is also amazing and serves the epic scale immensely well. The score and music is electrifying and so over the top in the best way possible. And this may just be me, but those ping-pong matches are adrenaline-pumping entertainment, man. Timothy also delivers an absolutely remarkable performance that inspires me as an actor. Honestly, everybody in this movie is great. Like, literally everybody. Even Kevin O'Leary. Like, screw Kevin O'Leary, but he's great in this movie. It's just overall truly masterful work, and I really hope Timothy and Josh Safdie work together again in the future. Lastly, though, I find it so impressive that this film can make you root for a bad person, which is a quality this film shares with the only other Safdie movie I've seen, Uncut Gems. Marty Mauser is not a good guy. He's entitled, unapologetic, narcissistic, impulsive, but his pure, unadulterated drive for his passion, his purpose, is so deeply relatable and inspiring to anybody that you can't help but hope he achieves his dream. What can I say? Everybody wants to rule the world. Good God, where do I start? Well, this movie is about two gangster twins, Smoke and Stack, who return to Mississippi after a 7-year hiatus in Chicago to open a juke joint in town for all their brothers and sisters to come down, play or listen to the blues, and have a good time. But when music is too good, some people want to take it for themselves, which is why a group of unfamiliar faces show up at their door and ask to be let inside. It's actually insane how incredible this movie is. Like, how do you take such an explored trope and make it into a completely original, authentic, societal statement of a film? It's just so impressive how much this movie does at once. It's a drama, it's a comedy, it's a period piece, it's a thriller, it's an action movie, it's a vampire movie, it's a musical. Like, it is crazy. Michael B. Jordan delivers nothing short of an Oscar-worthy performance as the Smokestack Twins, and I'd even say the same about Miles Caton, an insanely talented musician who gives a phenomenal performance in his first acting role ever. Imagine this being your first movie, like, oh my god. The score is fittingly incredible. Every time music is in this movie, it's amazing. I love how music is used as a narrative device here, and it's so interwoven into the story that it just makes you notice it more than you typically would in a movie. Everything about this movie is just genius, and I'm so happy it's getting even half the attention and praise that it deserves. Ryan Coogler, you've really done it this time. I would call this the best horror movie ever made if I were to even classify it as such. I know a lot of people consider it to be, but I'd just say it's a musical dramedy that happens to have vampires in it. Sinners is the best movie of 2025 and my personal pick for the Best Picture at the 98th Academy Awards. But let's be real, they're giving it to one battle. But those are just my opinions. I'd love to see all of yours in the comments. I really wanted this video to be bigger and better than this, so I'm sorry, but next year I got you, I promise, I'm locked in. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one.